So I got two situations going on. I got a fire damage property I'm going to see tomorrow. In this area, I talked to the owner about a couple weeks so far, on and off, and we reached a number. The ARV in the area is like 425 for that property, and he said it's been a year since the whole situation happened. And he has like several adjusters that came, and everybody's like contractors that came. Everybody is basically giving him like $165,000 repair type deal. So I told him, hey, I did the formula, whatever, and I'm trying to make a big profit. I'm not gonna lie. So I told him, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. So I told him, hey, we can do 120 and close this within 30 days. You don't have to worry about X, Y, and Z, stress, X, Y, and Z. So he called me today. He wants to meet tomorrow. He didn't say no to the number yet. I'm guessing we'll talk about that. Of course, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I want to leave with contract, and but my thing is, he asked, he just said an idea, and I'm trying to figure out how to get him away from that idea. He said, hey, what if we be partners on this deal?
Oh, the seller?
Right.
He's not a seller then at that point.
Yeah, it's
a partner.
Yeah, that's kind of a catch-22.
He can partner with you by selling it to you.
See, this is where most gurus would pitch you and go, well, you can do this novation thing. And I'm here to tell you, like, don't, because the problem is you have to understand that, Vince, how long have you been doing this for now, roughly?
About a year and a half.
Okay. So you have some expertise and experience, and you understand the landscape of how wholesaling works, especially on these types of motivated sellers on fire damage properties. He obviously doesn't. Mm-hmm. So you two are never going to have a meeting of the minds. Mm-hmm. You're going to have your own challenges getting in the meeting of the minds on the price. And honestly, I would just concentrate on the price, because then here's the problem. When you partner up with a homeowner.
Well, I don't want to partner with him.
I know. But like you now have a new boss that has zero experience. Have you ever had a bad boss that is like, they don't even know what they're doing? Mm-hmm. It's the most frustrating situation you can be. This is the number one reason why I tell people to avoid novations at all costs, unless that's your only method to do it. Because now you got a partner that has zero experience, and they're going to tell you everything they want you to do. And in the end, I've done multiple deals like this. In the end, I always go, just get me out. I want out. I just give me my money back. I don't want anything to do with this. So what I would do is focus on trying to find a price that works for both of you. And listen, it's a fire damage problem. And I always tell him, listen, this could take years for me to figure out. And he's already taken a year. It hasn't gotten anywhere. So the hard part's over. You want him to enjoy his life, get his money out of this, and take the money and go buy something that works for him. I'm sure he got like some sort of insurance claim.
Question. So I'm trying to do the math here. He owned this property, right? They said 165 for repairs. How much did he get from the insurance?
That's how much they're going to give him to fix it.
They're going to give him 165.
Yeah.
So does he want to just take that 165 and get anything on the top and leave, or does he want to get that 165?
He wanted 150 from me.
And what's the ARV on it?
150, and he's going to keep the 165.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's what is the ARV on this?
He says
4 what?
425?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, sorry, I got to do the math in my head here. 425. I mean, that's not terrible.
26% discount.
Yeah.
But remember, a fire damage property, it's going to have some more built in it.
There's a 110 in there. I mean, honestly, you put the 165 into the repair. I mean, it's not terrible. I think you can play around with the guy and just squeeze a little more out of it. I think you're going to be fine. So if he's 150 off the bat, you could probably maybe get 120, right?
I told him 120, right?
Yeah,
and
I didn't even remember that.
Yeah,
See,
he's thinking it over.
Vince is thinking like me.
So now he's in the strategy. So when did you give him that offer, Vince?
Yesterday. No, not yesterday. The day before yesterday.
What's going on with it then? That offer.
So he called me today. He said, "Can we meet tomorrow?" And he called me. He didn't say nothing about yes or no to the 120 yet. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm guessing we're going to talk about when I get there. I guess he wants me to see the actual. It's not, the damage is not as bad as I guess we think it is. I guess he's trying to get to. I don't know.
Well, the number's set, so they've already given you the estimate repairs.
Yeah.
And the reality is that property ain't getting any better while it's sitting there. It's not gonna. We know it's not appreciating in this market, and unless he's doing something to protect it, because as the elements get to a fire damage property, it only gets worse and worse over time. So I would use that as kind of a leveraging point.
Right.
And my old technique on this is, so a lot of people get caught in this. You give the offer, and they're like, "Let me think about it," and then there's that awkward moment. Like, at least you're meeting with them tomorrow, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing I was happy about.
Yeah.
A lot of people ghost you. This guy is one that meets the next day. So I'm like,
he's motivated.
Yeah.
I think he's motivated. He's sick of not getting this money and taxes. He already probably had to pay. He's sick of it, man. And this is a good motivated seller. Why does he want to partner up on it? Just curious.
I've heard. I dealt with other sellers before that talked to other people that did the partnership thing. So I know it's common. I heard people doing that.
Between you and me, Vince, Vince, somebody probably pitched that to him, and that's why it's in his head.
That's the problem. Everyone's going around pitching novations, and
I think somebody pitched that to him.
But keep in mind, that would be a disaster. It's guaranteed disaster because, first of all, fire damage property takes a special type of buyer in the end. Like it takes a special cash buyer. And number two, a lot of times they have the expectations that Vince is going to make this property perfect. And you get that property back, you're looking at a year plus worth of work. And who has to pay for all that? Like, we're not in that part of the business. We're just wholesaling.
Let me ask Vince a question. Vince, are you going to put up the $320,000 for a year to renovate the property?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. You're wholesaling it. You can't partner up.
So
second, I partner up on big flips with you. And it's a lot of work just with one partner that I know and I trust.
We kill each other.
Imagine a seller like, whoa.
Because they have no, like, other than their initial buy-in, but like then everything's on you. And then they usually want you to get, like $550 for it. It's like, and I'm just telling you, like, somebody pitched them for it. So here's what you do. You're meeting with them. The technique I like to use, I just hold, hey, so we're good at the 120. I assume that's why we're meeting. Go with the assumptive. And when he counters you some stupid number, which is probably going to happen, he says, listen, 140, 145. Here's the technique I use a lot of these, because you're close. He's motivated. The property's motivated. You just got to do the schmoozing part. I just a lot of times go, listen, I can do 126,000. That's the most I don't have any more money after that. That's what I have. Sometimes when you tell them that's all the money you have, they're like, crap, that's the most I'm going to get out of them. Now you can go back and change it and go, well, listen, if I talk to my friend's wife, they might give me a loan for that extra 5,000 if you decide to go up to it. But a lot of times they go, listen, I got 126K. Like, that's what I have ready to go. I've committed it. That's the most I can do. So by sneaking out like the highest and best offer, but like, here's the deal. You have to make a decision. Yeah. The biggest thing you can do, Vince, is while you're on that property, take as much time as you need to have him make a decision while you're there. So I would just say, listen, right before, I would give him the upfront agreement again. I said, listen, Nick, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. All I ask is we're going to talk today, and I just need to make sure that you're going to make a decision of yes or no before you leave today. Just try it, because you can't have him mulling it over for days on again. So he's going to want a little higher number. You can counter it a little bit, but try the low counter, because sometimes people, when they go, man, if that's the most he's got, that's the most I'm going to get out of him. And it tends to work half the time. Can you go up in price? Yeah, you can. You go, listen, you call him back the next day and go, listen, I thought about it. I'm just going to go up to the 129.5, and whatever it is. So I'm not putting numbers in your head, but like when he makes, I assume he's going to come in at like a 140 number, and you're going to have to be strong on your counter.
Yeah. Right.
And you need him to make a decision right then and there, because you just want to get it under contract.
Yeah, that was my point. I was going to go probably up to like 130 and probably quit. Like not from the beginning.
Yeah.
But 130 would be like my ceiling.
That's it. So
and try to slowly break everything down on what we're really about to do, how long this process is going to take, why the partnership is not the best thing for you and your future type thing, what you got going on in your life, because he told me his whole life story. So that's a good sign. That's really I'm hoping that he just say 125 and we good. So but yeah, so and then one more thing. What kind of, he said bring a mask. I'm trying to figure out, because I only walked through like 2 other fire damage properties. Yeah. And the first one was like a roof was already gone off that thing. So, and then the second one I just walked through real quick. What kind of mask? Was it like N95 or something like that?
Yeah, you want to be safe. It's probably pretty toxic stuff. It's not good stuff to be breathing in. All right. This isn't I've been through some burnt properties, but they're pretty recent. It's gonna smell bad. They're usually pretty open. You had drywall on fire. Like, this isn't stuff you want to be breathing in, man. Knowing it's Florida, there's probably gonna be mold, dude. And so it's like, just don't be breathing in mold, man. I mean, honestly, a regular mask might be fine. Like, don't get too much into it. So we have respirators because we deal with legit crack homes, but that's just us. Suck. But we do a lot of them. Things, man. Remember the one house that had all that, like,
I threw it away. I threw it away after that visit. But like, Vince, so get the proper base gear, whatever it is.
Your health
do
what
you're comfortable.
Man.
But like, when you have it and it's real nasty in there, stay in it. It's going to be hard to communicate. It's going to be hard to point out. You're going to have to be extra exaggerated, but like, that's how you get the best deals. Because a lot of times they go like, I knew it was bad. I didn't think it was this bad. And then I do the opposite. When you walk in a really nice house and it's perfect, I just take them outside, because I'm not going to win that conversation. So accent the problem. So I would have a good mask so you can stay in it as long as you can. And when you go outside to talk to them, whatever, take the mask off, take a few minutes to catch your breath, have your hands on your knees and go, man, what am I getting into? And when he says, listen, so, maybe we can partner up, I go, listen, honestly, I don't know how long this is going to take. And if you think a year's a long time, I don't know what the outcome is. And I don't know if it's even going to be profitable when it's said and done. For that reason, reason I think it's best that we come to an agreement today and get you taken care of, so I can take however time it's going to take to get this property in the right direction. And that's it. So I think you got a really good game plan. I think you'll be fine. Just
That's great.
have fun with the mask thing type of deal. It's like stay in there till he understands the frustration level. And then that is a lever you can use when you come to the kind of the final negotiation. And then just go, listen, this is all I have for the property. I just can't do anymore because look, and I do this, I can look around. Like there's tremendous risk on this deal. And the added fact is the market is changing. So most of the public accepts that the market's changing for the worse, not the better. And once again, you can use that as leverage too.
Oh yeah.
You got it, man.
We believe in you, man. You got this.
Okay.
You got the right list.
And then the one last, well, I got another deal virtually going on right now. So this is the opposite situation where the negotiation went down. We agreed upon a number. The guy wanted the lawyer to look at the agreement. He has a towing company, so I understand where he's coming from. They claim they sent it to the lawyer. I told him it's gonna take 5 to 10 days. This happened last week where we reached the number. I called him the other day. He said he's gonna call me back yesterday. I haven't heard from him since. So how do I speed up that process, or is it a legit? You think it's a legit thing? Because I didn't send him the agreement with the numbers. I sent him just him.
Yeah.
You can't rush it. I hate to say it. Like I would call and just follow up, but you can't rush it. Some lawyers take their own time. Between you and me, but the truth is, you've said this a million times, but when someone's a lawyer's looking it over, it's their aunt who went to law school for a year, or like their friend's friend that is a paralegal. It's usually not a legit lawyer, and if it is a legit lawyer, they're gonna always find something wrong with their contract because that's why they get paid. Like no lawyer has ever gotten a contract and said, "This is perfect, you're good. Here's $500, pay me." No, they're like, "Here's $500. I found these 2 things. This is why you pay me." They're gonna find something wrong, because if they don't find something wrong, then they can't justify charging the person. So that's how it's a weird game with lawyers. But
no, I mean, I agree. It's easier just to send the template, because if you want to change the contract,
smart, though. Very
and
smart.
then you don't get into the numbers with them, because this is where lawyers stick their noses where they don't belong.
They give their opinion.
If you and the seller have agreed on a price, why do I want the lawyer's opinion? Like they're not a professional real estate like consultant. They're not a broker. They're not a real estate lawyer. But the minute you try to practice law and interpret anything, they will remind you every second. So another technique I do if you have to go through the lawyer route is when I talk to the seller, I go, listen, so we've agreed on $150,000, close it within 30 days, and the $100 or $500 deposit. Like you're solid on those numbers. So like you and me in agreement on that. It just comes down to the template of the contract. That's fine. Just remind them. So when the lawyer gets in their head, they'll usually go like this. No, me and the buyer have already agreed on the price. And then you don't have to go through that ridiculous argument. It's never the contract. I could care less on the contract. It's when they start meddling their business on the deposit, the purchase price, and the terms. That's where I'm just like, so I talked to someone, what was it? It was on Monday. And he said, well, the lawyer sent it back. And they made these 3 minor changes. And I said, as long as it didn't affect the price, it didn't affect your time of inspection or how long you had to close, and it's an assignable contract, who cares? Like, just there's some things I can't negotiate on these. When they take your assignability, it minimizes your options. Now, if you're making a huge spread, you can double close it. But a lot of on these smaller ones, they take that assignability, they're throwing a huge wrench into your deal, and you just got to. So when it goes out to a lawyer, just go, I can't move on these things, and then anchor it with the seller, and then that way when it comes in, you can do that, and it kind of keeps your deal alive.
I agree.
So no other red flags I should look for if you come pretty much that's it with the template. Like
no, just see what they say. They're gonna say something, and you just got to figure out what to do.
I just hate when they like, isn't that price a little bit low? I'm like,
yeah, and that's why I didn't want to put the price. I told him
the problem is,
well,
I told him I said,
hey, you're fine, man.
Yeah, you're fine.
Don't worry, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's always something left when you do that kind of stuff. And
so Vince, if he says, listen, I need the contract completely filled out, and you have to send it, make sure you have that conversation with your seller to anchor the stuff that's going to be non-negotiable with the lawyer. Okay. That way, when he goes, well, he told me I should get 200 for it. I'm like, well, we already agreed on 150. You were fine with it. What's changed? 9 times out of 10, it's the lawyers or his assistant or the paralegal, he or she, looking up like the Zillow value, because lawyers, they don't understand property values, just like I don't understand the law all the way.
All right. And my last question, since y'all brought up that 150, he said for the fire damage property, he said he owed 150 on the house. That's why he wants 150. I really don't think he owes 50. I just think he wants.
Well, you can look that up. It's easy.
So I saw it on PropStream, but PropStream didn't have anything.
Guess what you're gonna say? If he goes back and says, "Oh, I owe 150. It has to be 150." Just say this. Perfect. Guess what we're gonna write in the contract? Seller agrees to sell it for whatever is owed on the mortgage. And guess what? If he owes 110, he's gonna get he will correct himself very quick.
Yeah, that's true.
And here's the thing: if he owes 150, you're not gonna go below 150. You know that. You ain't gonna go below that, right? So here's the cool part. You are just gonna write that into the agreement and just put price 150, but also make a change on there. We put one, you can write whatever you want on it. I don't know the legal way to write it, but like seller agrees to sell to buyer to 150 as first noted, because 150 was what the seller thought it's owed. You can write, like, I would probably ask the title company how to say it the right way, but what I would write here is seller agrees to sell to the buyer for price owed. As of this writing, seller says they owe 150. If it changes, purchase price will change. And I'll tell you, they will shift very quick. I don't think he owes 150. If he owes 120, your closing will be 120.
And Vince, if you want to verify it, like, so you got to understand PropStream, all this, that they do estimations. They're not always perfect. So the easiest way to do is go in the official records for that county and look up the recording. It'll be under his last name. And then you can see the recorded mortgage. You'll see the date and it should say the amount. You'll have to guess the interest rate because that's actually on the note. And then just put it in an amortization schedule. This is where you use like Chat GPT to, like, as your assistant, that would just work you through it. So if he bought the property 10 years ago at say 165,000, you can actually go down that chart and see what the principal balance would be 10 years down the road. And you can guess it within a couple $1,000s very, very easily. So if you don't have to get in the weeds on it, but if you want detail, you can easily do that yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's about it, guys.
All right. Well, we believe in you, man. Get after it, dude.
Man.
Okay, Vince, good luck, man. Let us know how it works out.
All right.